I was born in 1918. My father was in the post office. My father died in 1931. I was 13-year-old at that time. My elder sister has just married. But what was the last thing which he had to say? I was asked to go out. He died at 5:30. At 5 o'clock on a slate, he wrote down, Bachu ne BA karjo. They call me Bachu at home. I am Bachu Kaka for Arun Bhai also. Let Bachu take his BA. I was in the 9th class at that time. So even on the deathbed, his final wish was, Bachu ne BA karjo. How could Bachu afford to be anything less than a scientist renowned all over the world? This is all because of these traditions.
Einstein's theory of gravity is described by a set of rather complicated equations which use the mathematics of Riemannian geometry. It is very difficult to solve these equations, particularly to find solutions which describe physically interesting situations. But in 1942, Prahlad Chunilal Vaidya did pioneering work which led to just such a solution. The Vaidya metric, as his seminal work came to be known, provided a solution of Einstein's equations which describes the gravitational field of a star which emits a great deal of radiation. This solution is one of the foremost interesting solutions of Einstein's theory. It is very useful in studying extreme astrophysical objects like quasars. Vaidya's work came at a time when circumstances for research were difficult in India and very little work on relativity was being done. This is his story.
No other subject could activate me as mathematics. I have been a mathematician, I must say, right from the birth and till God allows me to stay on this earth. After I finished my school, my brother was in Bombay. He was a teacher there. So I completed my matriculation from Madhavdas Amarsi High School, joined college at Ismail Yusuf College. After 2 years, the Institute of Science, now it was Royal Institute of Science in those days, I did my BSc and MSc at the Institute of Science, Bombay. I read Gandhi as well as Marx and developed a special view of looking at life and at opportunities, how to use them to the advantage of the people in general rather than to my advantage. This is the peculiar situation in which I trained myself from 30 to 42. It so happened that after 40, that is, I was in Rajkot College. I couldn't work in the state college in the pre-independence days. So in 1 year I left the college, joined Ahimsak Vyayam Sangh.
The Ahimsak Vyayam Sangh was set up to prepare volunteers for the front line in Gandhiji's Satyagraha movement. Members underwent hard physical training to be able to cope with the rigors of resisting India's colonial masters. The motto was non-violence of the strong.
In 42, the situation was such that Hitler had attacked Russia as well as England, and therefore India cannot afford opposing England because that would mean opposing Russia, and therefore there was a problem. Prithvi Singh, therefore, as a communist, did not want to take lead in the 42 struggle, and therefore our Ahimsak Vyayam Sangh was closed. And I had no other place, but I remembered I had heard Professor V.V. Narlikar, father of Jayant Narlikar. Professor V.V. Narlikar's lecture in 1937 at Bombay University. He was professor at Banaras University, so I wrote him a postcard that I am free. I would like to come and work with you. Within the next post, I got a reply that please come in. And therefore, with wife, 6 months old child, and 600 rupees which I had saved, we went to Banaras.
સવારના ભાઈ સાહેબ તો ઉઠીને પાણી ભરે કૂવામાંથી કારણ કે ત્યાં તો બનારસમાં કૂવા ઊંડા બહુ એટલે એટલે પહેલાં પાણી ભરે એટલે અમે એવા માટીના વાસણ લીધા હતા એમાં પાણી ભાઈ સાહેબ ભરે આખો દિવસ વાપરવાનું એટલે પછી ભાઈ સાહેબે વહેલા ઉઠીને પછી એ ટ્યુશન એક નેપાળના નરેશના છોકરાને ટ્યુશન કરવા જતા એ વળી 100 રૂપિયા મળતા અમને ટ્યુશન કરવા જાય અને હું પછી ઘરકામમાં કરું બગીચા માટા મારું ને રસોઈ પાણી કરીએ કારવી સાંજે અમે રોજ ગંગા ઘાટ જવાના જ ચાલતા જઈએ અને ભરતા 6 પૈસાની રિક્ષામાં ઘેર આવીએ ઓલી રિક્ષા ગંગા ઘાટે જઈએ ત્યારે ભાઈ સાહેબ ગંગામાં નાય અને અમે બાંકડો હોય એમાં બેસીએ અને આ નાની ઊભી ઊભી એના કાકાને જોવે અને માં 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 કરે
એ ઓળીને કરું
This was the routine. Otherwise, I was busy with my research work, moving up and down in the open space in the small room where we were staying and creating mathematical ideas. Relativity was a new subject in those days, and it was the subject of relativity which has struck me, and that made me into a relativist. But that's because of that 1937 lecture on general theory of relativity of Einstein, which Professor V.V. Narlikar delivered at Bombay University.
3 times a week, Vaidya rode a bicycle to the Banaras Hindu University to meet with and to consult Professor V.V. Narlikar. His wife and little daughter often accompanied him, and over the next 10 months, a warm friendship developed between the Narlikars and the Vaidyas. But around them, the struggle for freedom was heating up, and Vaidya found himself in the thick of events.
Because of the 1942 movement which turned violent, Gandhi started fast in February 1943. 21 days fast. The people were violent, but the government was more violent, and therefore he went on fast. And his 16th, 17th and 18th day of fast were very severe, and we were all worried. So I was moving up and down the veranda, looking for the evening newspaper, Aaj. Today even Aaj is being printed in Banaras, for getting some news about it. While this moving up and down with worries in the mind, the idea came that fluids move with velocity less than that of light. Light moves with the velocity of light, which is the maximum velocity. Therefore, if I want to consider the field of a radiating star, I must not consider fluid moving out of the star, but radiation moving out of the star, and therefore the velocity should not be the velocity of fluid, but it should be the velocity of light. That idea came, the first idea that came to an individual in development of dynamics, hydrodynamics and astrophysics, in gravitational theory of relativity. And then it started. Once the idea comes, mathematics is there with you. I worked out the idea, did it. Within 7 days, the results were out.
The general theory of relativity, or what is known as Einstein's theory of gravity, was given in 1915 by Einstein in the form of Einstein equations. Immediately in the next year, Carl Schwarzschild found a solution depicting a star. But an important gap in the Schwarzschild solution was that no radiation was assumed outside the star. That is, outside of the star was taken to be completely empty and vacuum. Vaidya, what he did was that he assumed that the star is radiating, which is a much more physically realistic situation if we are to understand the real universe. He solved Einstein equations in this situation, and he found a solution to Einstein's equations, which is known as the Vaidya metric, which we can use to study realistic stars.
Without financial support, Vaidya soon ran out of money. After 10 very fruitful months in Banaras, he had to pack his bags and leave.
If I had got some scholarship, after returning to Bombay, my brother was in Bombay at that time, I would have gone back to Banaras. But in the meantime, I got a job and then we continued. After all, teaching was the main job. Even after doing my PhD or research, the world may know me as a scientist, but Gujarat knows me as a teacher.
Soon after returning from Banaras, Vaidya got the post of a lecturer at MTB College in Surat. He worked there for 3 years when a dream opportunity presented itself in the shape of an invitation from Dr. Homi Bhabha to join his handpicked team at the newly set up Tata Institute for Fundamental Research in Mumbai. The first year was spent in close interaction with colleagues and Bhabha himself. But once again, a practical problem conspired to push Vaidya into a different trajectory.
For 1 year, I didn't get any housing accommodation. So in the next year, that is 48 April, I wrote to Dr. Bhabha that it's not possible for me to continue as a guest in a Bombay household. And therefore, I had applied at Vallavidhyanagar. Without interview, they gave me appointment letter and asked me to see the atmosphere at Vallavidhyanagar at their cost. So immediately I came to Vidyanagar.
जनवरी सन 1947 में विट्ठल भाई पटेल महाविद्यालय की इमारत बनने लगी और जून सन 1947
When I joined there, Vittal Bhai Patel Mahavidyalaya was the only building available. Engineering college, Birla Vishwakarma Mahavidyalaya was being constructed. It was opened by Jawaharlal Nehru, and then he smiled, oh, a building without a roof. There was no roof, but there was the front gate, and he opened it. And we used to take classes in a room without a roof.
The years at Vallabh Vidyanagar saw Vaidya discovering himself as a natural-born teacher and leader. He worked closely with the students, training them in physical education and motivating them to work together. At the same time, he rigorously pursued his research, making this the most productive period of his career.
I joined Vallavidhyanagar in 48, and my first paper in the Physical Review of America was published in 51, but received there in December 1950. It must be somewhere here. So my research work was initiated at Vallavidhyanagar, initiated by me, all on my own, and from 48 at Vidyanagar to 55 at Gujarat College. Within these 7.5 years, that was Shani's Mahadasha as far as I was concerned. But in that Shani's Mahadasha, I gained a lot as far as mathematical research and teaching is concerned.
Yes, the situation under which he worked with the very limited facilities, or rather with extreme lack of facilities, I would rather say that he worked with the real tool with which a scientist should work, which is his mind.
For theoretical work, what do you need? These are the things which I need. For experimental work, you need an atmosphere, you need some money, you need some grants, and so on. For us, there is nothing.
After spending 7 years at Vidyanagar, Vaidya took on bigger challenges in Ahmedabad. In 1955, he was appointed Professor of Mathematics at Gujarat College. Within 3 years, the Director of Education appointed him Principal of MN College at Visnagar. But less than a year later, he moved back to Ahmedabad and joined the newly set up Department of Mathematics at Gujarat University, and his leadership qualities saw him rise to the post of Vice Chancellor. Though he always had time to continue his research and also founded the Indian Association of General Relativity and Gravitation, Vaidya's primary focus now shifted to mathematics education.
See, he was appointed Professor of Gujarat University in November or December 1959. And he used to tell us that he is the highest paid mathematics teacher in Gujarat. It cannot be only for a few hours of teaching MSc classes and a few more hours of discussing problems with PhD students. It is his duty, his moral duty, to see that mathematics education at every level in the state is improved.
There was need for change of every education. Why math education? Math education couldn't be separated from the rest of the education. As a matter of fact, my teaching of mathematics up to BA level has been all along in Gujarati. And one of the reasons is, as the students also know, that the mathematics which we are teaching at the 12th grade was all developed in this country, in our languages. Why translate it and then teach it?
As soon as he joined as professor, he started these movements. And he first started to improve the postgraduate education, because his theory was that you have to first train the teachers before you improve curriculum at any level. And the teachers are, the smallest number is at the postgraduate level. Therefore, he first trained the postgraduate teachers, or he arranged for the training.
My way of running the program is that I don't speak. The participants speak. After all, they are teachers. For 3 days the program lasted, and then the last day I said, for 3 days you have been talking mathematics, mathematics and mathematics alone. It means you know how to talk on mathematics continuously. Why not develop this and pass this your capacity to your students? So let us have a Gujarat Ganit Mandal. That's how the Gujarat Ganit Mandal was founded. Started in 1960 with a summer school for college teachers where A.R. Rao, A.M. Vaidya, Mahavir Vasavada, they were all students. 1960, and in 2004 now I am running a program for primary school teachers. It takes about 40 years to go around.
વારની અંદર આપણે ગણિત એટલું બધું સહેલું છે કે આપણે આ બધી પ્રવૃત્તિ કરીએ એમાંથી આપણને ગણિત મળી જાય કે ના મળી જાય? હવે આપણે દડો જોયો, આ દડો જોયો તો આપણે ખબર પડી ગઈ કે દડો જે છે એ કેવો છે? આપણે ગોળ છે. એ ગોળ ઉપરથી આપણને શું મળી ગયું? વર્તુળાકાર મળી ગયો કે ના મળી ગયો? પછી આપણે આ ડીશ જોઈ હતી, પછી આપણે બધા સિક્કા જોયા. સિક્કા એટલે વ્યવહારમાં વિચારો કે આપણે ડગલે ને પગલે ચાલીએ તો પણ બી શું જોવા મળે છે? આપણને ગણિત જોવા મળે છે. આવે છે કે નથી આવતું? આ કેવી જોવા મળે છે આપણને ભાઈ? વર્તુળાકાર કહીશું આપણે. શું કહીશું ભાઈ? બરાબર. કે બાળકોને એકાગ્ર કરવા છે તો આ બધી પ્રવૃત્તિઓ થકી જ એકાગ્ર કરી શકતા છીએ, અને પછી વિષય વસ્તુ મૂકતા છીએ તો બહુ સરળતા બનતી છે. પ્રવૃત્તિઓ અને એ પ્રવિધિ થકી વિષય વસ્તુ ઉપર જવાનો ખ્યાલ ખરેખર એ ગણિત મંડળને આભારી છે, એ હું 100% કહું છું. ગણિત મંડળનો ખ્યાલ મને MSc દરમિયાનથી આવેલો. એ તે વર્ષોમાં ગણિત મંડળ દ્વારા સુગણિતમ અંક આવતું હતું, એનું લાવાજમ ભરીને ઘણા સમય દરમિયાન સુધી મેં મારી રીતે પ્રયત્ન કરેલો, કારણ કે બધા ઘણા તજજ્ઞો હતા એની અંદર જોડાયેલા. એટલે તેઓના લેખો દ્વારા ખરેખર બહુ મારા વ્યવહારની અંદર અને મારું જે કાર્યક્ષેત્રમાં ખૂબ મદદરૂપ મને થઈ ગયું.
બાળકોને આપણે જ્યારે A વત્તા B આખા કૌંસનો ઘન એ વિસ્તરણ જ્યારે શીખવાડવાનું હોય છે ત્યારે સામાન્ય રીતે શું થાય છે કે શિક્ષક લખી નાખે છે, બાળકો ગોખી નાખે છે. એને બદલે આ ક્યાંથી આવ્યું,
બરાબર છે,
અથવા તો આ સાચું છે, એ તમે આવા કોઈક નમૂના મારફતે બતાવી શકો. એક વખત એવો હતો, હું જ્યારે B.Edમાં હતી ત્યારે બહુ જ સાચી ભાષામાં કહું તો હું રડતી હતી.
આપણા મગજમાં પહેલાં રાખવું પડે કે A ક્યુબ પ્લસ B ક્યુબ પ્લસ 3A² B પ્લસ 3AB². એટલે આપણે પહેલાં ગોઠવવું છે શું?
એની જગ્યાએ જ્યારે હું શિક્ષક તરીકે B.Edની ડિગ્રી લઈને બહાર પડી અને અત્યારની હું મારી સ્થિતિ જોઉં છું, ગણિતમાં અનહદ ફેર પડી ગયો છે, અને એનું કારણ ગણિત મંડળ.
તો હવે આ થઈ શકે કે નહીં?
બરાબર.
એટલે સમજાવવાની દ્રષ્ટિથી તો આ એકદમ સરળ પડે.
તો બેન આવું મોડેલ A વત્તા B વત્તા C ના ઘનનું પણ થઈ શકતું હશે ને?
ચોક્કસ. ગુરુના સ્થાને હું વ્યક્તિ કરતા ગણિત મંડળને મૂકું તો પણ ખોટું નથી.
The Gujarat Ganit Mandal, or the Mathematical Society of Gujarat, was initiated by Professor Vaidya in 1963. It held its first conference in 1964 in Bhavnagar, and since then has established itself as the most consistent and dynamic mathematical society in India. Its conferences are very popular and are usually held in small towns to allow wide participation.
Even laymen who are interested in mathematics, they come in large numbers. We have doctors, we have bank officers, we have LIC officers and others. And they are not only attending, but they are even participating, they are lecturing, they are writing articles in this magazine. So it's quite an interesting thing. We have a movement that appeals to a large mass of people, to the mathematical instincts of all the citizens. If you have you might say, mathematical tooth, then this is the place to be. That is the word that has gone around.
In 1963, Vikram Sarabhai invited Professor Vaidya and his wife to dinner. Vaidya's reputation as a mathematician and a teacher preceded him, and Dr. Sarabhai wished to discuss how science and mathematics could be made more popular. That meeting led to a lasting friendship and the establishment of the Community Science Center. Over time, stalwarts such as Professor A.R. Rao developed the institution, which even today remains the center of popular science activity in Ahmedabad.
We have the first mathematical laboratory in any educational institution. This is the first mathematical laboratory. Now the concept is accepted even by UGC, NCERT, and they are having one rule that every secondary school should have mathematics laboratory. इसमें से बड़ा बनाना है तो क्या करना चाहिए? अंदर छोटा सा होल्ड करना चाहिए.
બધા એમ કહે છે ગણિત અઘરું છે કારણ કે હું એમ ન કહું ત્યાં સુધી શિક્ષક તરીકે મારી આબરૂ શું રહે. ભાષા ભણાવતો હોય એને ટ્યુશન મળે એના કરતાં ગણિત ભણાવતો એને ટ્યુશન વધારે મળે છે કે નહીં. ગણિત અઘરું છે એમ જો હું ન કહું તો બીજો કોણ કહેવાનો છે. નક્કી તમારે કરવાનું છે. ગણિત અઘરું છે ના, ગણિત શીખવવું અઘરું હશે, શીખવું અઘરું નથી. કારણ આંક નથી આવડતા એ તો યાદ નથી રહ્યું. પણ 17×5 = 95 કે 17×5 = 85 બે મૂક્યા છૂટ ના લાવો પટેલ 100માં 5 ઓછા. આની સમજણ આપણને કેવી રીતે પડે છે? દુનિયામાં કોઈ દેશના લોકોને નથી પડતી એવી અનાયાસે આપણા સંસ્કારમાં આવેલી વાત છે. The atmosphere in Gujarat is supportive of arts? No. Law? No. Medicine? No, not the atmosphere, because it brings money. Engineering? Same type, brings money. So, in Gujarat, essentially, there is no support for anything which does not help developing the trades, customs and pocket money of the parents. But the main thing which we have been doing is to impress upon the parents that doing an engineering is immediate gain. Doing an MSc is a long-term gain. And your child, when he completes his MSc, he becomes a better citizen. Then your child, when he completes his engineering, he becomes a better vyapari. Whether you want to make him a good citizen or a good vyapari, half of Gujaratis opt for a good vyapari. They tell me frankly. They thank me for this and they say that we go this way. But there are people who continue to be on this side.
It's a great movement that he has initiated, and it's so good that he has not dominated over it. He has deliberately demolished his own role in it, gradually. That's what is unique about him. Otherwise, people would not give up such control. But he has done that. That's very good.
After all, what's the difference between a student and a teacher? If you take my MSc classes, some of my students are going to be very high positions than the position to which I am, or I was in my younger days. But still they are my students because they imitate their teacher but do it in their own way. The teacher has to present himself as a model before his students to imitate. This is what Jagdish Chandra Bose talked to us in 1966. I call it Bose's law of teacher education. His first law, take away his textbooks, take away his notebooks. Does he still remain a teacher? If yes, then he is a teacher. And his second law is, what does a teacher do? He presents himself as a model before his students to imitate.